Hi everyone, Tim Brown. Welcome back to another episode of my Apple Podcast. Now that iOS 7 has been out for a little over a week now, we've had a chance to calm down just a bit and get a little used to familiarizing ourselves with all the new features, including iTunes Music. And as you know, iTunes Music now includes iTunes Radio, which I believe, well, in my opinion, significantly changes the app in a very important way. At least for me, I'm now finding myself using the application a whole lot more than I did in the past, because the radio is now integrated into my music listening experience, which before was just unique to the music that I possessed in my library. So let's go ahead and open the application on both devices, mainly because there's a lot about iTunes Radio and the music app in general that syncs very well across devices, including how the radio is used. So what you're looking at here are featured stations that Apple has already provided for you that you can add to your stations. But that seems kind of redundant since the featured stations are already there. And we can just press on any one of those to play the music that falls underneath them. So for example, I just selected iTunes Festival, and it's now playing a song from that station. But let's just say I'm browsing across through all the stations on my iPhone and iPad. I don't see anything I like. You have the option to just go ahead and add a station of your own. And you do that by just clicking on the plus symbol. And here I'm just going to start with the iPad here. And I'm going to go ahead and choose Dance. And see what the options are here. See, I like House. It reminds me of when I was younger. So let's just go ahead and pull that up and see what that's like. I'm going to add House as a station now. And what do you notice is that the House music station now appears on my iPhone as well. Now let's just quickly go through the menu of options. So radio was the default option on the bottom left. We still have Genius as an option on both devices. And what Genius does is pull songs from your existing library. In my case, all of my songs are currently in iCloud. I haven't downloaded anything to the iPad itself. And it's just setting a playlist for me. And I like how they grouped them in this little grid format, which is basically representing the different albums that the songs are associated with. If you want to actually see the playlist themselves, you just go ahead and press on that album. And then in the right hand corner, select the list view. And you can see the list of songs that are going to be played as a part of that playlist that Apple has set up. And there's also playlists. And these are the playlists that you would typically set up using iTunes. These are playlists that are different from the iTunes Radio playlist, obviously. So if you wanted to set up a new playlist right from your device, you can do that. You can give it a name. And let's just say I call it Jazz. Or let me back up and just call it My Jazz. My Jazz. Click Save. And I can now go through and find some recordings on my iCloud account that I can add to Jazz. So let's just say, for example, I just decided to add this Calypso Minor by Abdullah Ibrahim. Click Done. And now you'll see that the song has been added, but there's a cloud icon next to it. And you see it also appears now as a playlist on my iPhone. So the whole time your devices are being synchronized in this way. The only difference is if I decided to download this song from iCloud by clicking on the iCloud icon on the right, it would only download to my iPad. It would not download to both devices. So that's just something you have to keep in mind when you're going back and forth between songs you want to download and songs that you want to keep in iCloud. For this episode, I'm just going to keep all my songs in the cloud for the moment. So So as you can see, we're both synchronized now. We both have playlists. On my iPhone and iPad, we go back to radio. You can see I also have the same radio stations. Artists, the same thing. They're all pulling from the same sources that are on all the songs that are stored on iCloud. Let's go back to iTunes Radio. So we have our station set up. And let's go ahead and play a song on this new station that we have set up. The house music station. So the song comes up. We press the I icon. And you'll see here we have an option to add a new station from this song, or from this station. We can choose to share it online on favorite social networking sites. You see we have this option on both devices. So if I did the same thing on the iTunes, on the iPhone, you can see that the same option comes up. In this case, I got a different song coming up. I'm going to pause, select the I icon, and you can see I can set up a new station from artist or song, just like on the iPad. And likewise, I can share this station via social networking sites. Again, the same consistency throughout. And you'll notice on the bottom of both devices, you have the star icon, so you can choose to play more songs like this. Now that we have the station set up, or never play the song, or add the song to an iTunes wish list. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the iPad. But you notice on the iPhone I have a different song, so that same song is not going to be added to my wish list, at least I don't think. If you ever want to access your wish list, this is how you do it. You click on the history link along the top, and you'll see a history of songs that you have played. And then next to that, you'll see wish list as an option. Well, you know, it was added. So even though your devices may be playing a different song when the station is pulled up, when you go to save a song to your wish list, that same song should appear on both devices as it does here. And of course, if I want to purchase, I can purchase it right now. So that's a nice option to have. Okay, so I'm really getting into the whole synchronization of how the iTunes Music app works with both devices. So I'm actually going to go ahead and set up another station. House music reminds me of my youth, but today I listen to jazz almost exclusively. And so what I'm going to go ahead is, using the iPad, I'm going to go ahead and set up another station. And I like this category. It's called Chill Out Jazz. So I'm going to select that, hit the plus symbol, and set up a new station. And wow, it happened very quickly. So now that station is on both devices. And it brings up the Roy Hargrove Quintet. Obviously, a ballad, Speak Low. And let's just say I want to go ahead and share this to my favorite social networking site. So I'm going to go ahead and click the info button. And I'm going to click at the bottom, share station. I'm actually going to go ahead and share this. I'm going to share it to Twitter. Hit post. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a browser where my Twitter account is set up. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh this and see if that was added to my iTunes account. And there it is. Tune in to Chill Out Jazz on iTunes Radio. When you click on Reveal, you can see that it even shows the album artwork that's associated with that album. And that's the iTunes Music app with iTunes Radio. I'm going to continue to play around with the app. If I learn anything new, I will definitely share it with you on future episodes. As the featured artwork for this episode, this is another collage that I created with Bazaart. This is Gregory Hines dancing, and I used a pattern background with some transparencies to make it interesting. I would love to share artwork by you. If you want to send me something, send it to myapplepodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of My Apple Podcast. My name is Tim Brown. Check me out next time.